Hey guys, today I want to talk about what are people missing if they don't become an expat. There's a lot of people in the U.S. They're happy in their little bubble and they stay in their bubble, or in any country out. That they don't. If you stay in Spain and you get used to Spain and you love Spain, that's fine. But a lot of people, like wherever you may live, whether it be Spain, the United States, or what have you, they don't understand what it's like to get out in the world and travel a lot. I've known a lot of people in my life that have traveled, and some people in my family have traveled a lot. And I've traveled a little bit in my life too. And every time I traveled, I was at my happiest. It seemed like my serotonin levels were always higher. I was always, really happy to go to Belize, to go to Canada, to go to the UK. Wherever I went, I was always happy, whether it was traveling around the United States or traveling around the world doing different things. And at some point in my life, what I did was I said, I'm going to retire at 55. I'm going to live someplace else. I don't want to live in the United States anymore. The United States I saw is kind of getting boring. The people were kind of angry all the time. A lot of people were angry. Not everybody, but I just found when I was working, nobody was ever happy. Everybody wasn't happy with their own skin. And the people that were happy were people that traveled a lot. And the people that were stuck in their jobs and they're stuck in a rut in their job, their only entertainment was screwing with people. And it was kind of sad to see that. And I kind of realized why people in their jobs kind of mess with other people, because that's their daily entertainment. That's their drama. And I wanted to get away from that. And people are really missing out on so many things when they don't travel. And especially people that are older, retired, because they can kind of get out of that rut, and you kind of become healthier when you travel because you're walking, you're out in the ocean, you're swimming, you're hiking, you're checking out new things, you're walking more, and you want to get out of bed. You want to get out there, and you want to get out there and live life. But they don't see the other part of living as an expat when people don't travel. And for me, when I came over here, my first year was my best. That was the honeymoon period. That was the best time. But I'm happier even 7 years in. I'll be 7 years in this March. And nothing could be better. And here's the reasons why. Number one, my rent. My rent is $80. If I was back in the States, rents have almost doubled since I left 7 years ago. They've almost doubled. Used to be you could still get places for $600, $700, $800 for one bedroom around the area that I lived in at one time, and now they're up to $1,000 or more for studios. Studios are very expensive. One bedrooms are very expensive. In most cases, they're usually around $1,500 or more, $2,000, somewhere around there for a decent studio. And you're usually not even in a really good area in some cases back in the States. But here's the other thing. Where I live in the Philippines, the people here seem to be they're voted the happiest people in Asia, and they really truly are happy people. They everybody has like their underbelly. I don't care who you are. I don't care what country you're from. I don't care how happy your country is. There's always that underbelly there, and they have that too a little bit. There are issues in the Philippines just like there's issues back in the U.S. or any other country. But I find it happier here because in the Philippines, there's 7,000 islands I can travel to. There's a lot of people here. There's a lot of expats that I get to hang out with and meet daily. And there's a lot of Filipinos I hang out with. And it just seems like I'm on a constant vacation. And a lot of people don't know what they're missing because they don't travel. They don't have that experience. They don't jump on a boat or a plane and go someplace. I have many people in my family that don't travel. They've never gone any place outside of their town, hardly at all, very seldom. They don't travel to other states very often, and they just kind of stay home. And I notice that they're not really truly happy in their lives. They kind of make their own world. They live in their own bubble. And when you burst that bubble and you start realizing that there's another whole world out there, life changes, and it changes for a better experience. I'm not saying I don't get depressed. We're older, we suffer, and me having sciatica, and many other people that come over here with issues, whether it be sciatica or they have problems with their legs, or just age is catching up to them, they can't walk, or they got high blood pressure or something like that. But still, your life is better than it is back home. You can hire people to help take care of you for very cheap money. For the amount of money that you save on your rent, you could come over here and live a really, really good life and have a caregiver or a caretaker or whatever. The food's over here a little bit different, but you can find what you need. Going to restaurants, to the cheaper restaurants like Taco Bell and places like that, are cheaper over here than back in the U.S. If you go to a place like Texas Roadhouse or TGI Fridays, generally the prices are about the same as they are back in the U.S. But they do have a card over here called the Bistro card, and that's something that I use. The Bistro card is exceptionally good. You pay about $50 for it, and on Mondays you save 30%. Every other day you save 20%, and it's a great deal to have. I love having it. It's just something that I really enjoy. It's one of the perks of living over here. Even though you got to pay $50 for it, overall, it's probably one of the best deals I ever did. When we have our expat meetings, we use that bistro card for all the guys, and all the girls, and they save 30% if we do it on a Monday, 20 if we do it on another day, and it's things like that, and just having a group of people over here that we can fall back on as friends. I noticed when I was living back home, my relatives would rarely ever call me. They'd rarely ever, contact me, or get in touch with me, or call me on the phone or anything. And I'd be the one who'd be setting up like family get-togethers and stuff like that. But when I stopped, no, there was no invitations, no phone calls, no, hey, Steve, how are you doing? Any of that. It just kind of all died out. And I realized who my family really was. My family was really more so my friends than it was my own family. And that's the kind of sad thing. Not that I don't stay in touch with them. I do, but I have friends over here that are actually closer than blood relatives. I have people that are almost like a brother. I have my friend Eugene and many other people that I consider really close friends over here. And some Filipino people too that are very dear friends. My girlfriend, her family is like my family. That's why I'm thinking about getting married, because we're so close. We're like this. We're tight. That's the difference over here than being back home. The other difference here is meeting girls. For a guy in your 50s or 60s, you can date younger women over here in their 30s or even 20s if you want to go back that far. I don't recommend going back that far, because you kind of get the young naive girls that don't have a clue. They're more liable to leave you quicker or cheat on you. But the older women are more willing to settle down, and everybody has their baggage. And girls over here have their baggage, and you have your baggage when you come over here too. Everybody brings baggage to a relationship. Let's face it. I don't care who you are. But one of the things I notice is that you see some really geeky guys over here sometimes, and even those guys can find a decent looking girl over here, and it gives them more psychologically, it makes life healthier for them, because it boosts the way that they think about themselves, and that's a good thing, because a lot of guys back home, if you look a certain way or something, girls look at you like, I wouldn't date that guy for $1 million, and over here, you kind of get a little boost, because the girls will still be hitting on you over here, and it doesn't really matter about your age or anything. When you ask women out, you're more likely to get a yes than a no over here, I find, than back home. I mean, back home, I didn't have many issues with women. I just didn't like the type of women that I was meeting back home. A lot of them had a lot of issues, a lot more baggage than the women that are over here in the Philippines. A lot of the Philippine baggage I can kind of deal with in a different way. But that's one of the biggest things, I think, that guys come over here to the Philippines, or guys go to another country, whether it be Portugal, Spain, France, England, or go to Asia and go to Thailand, Cambodia, or the Philippines, or Malaysia, or someplace like that. There's definitely a lot of choices here and different places that you can go to meet people. Greece, even Africa. Africa, some people go to Africa and they like Africa. That might be your thing. Maybe you're okay with living there. It's still cheap. There's a lot of places. Portugal is a very cheap place to live. I heard that Greece is pretty cheap. Malta is pretty decent, and there's a lot of different visas out there that you can look into, and start exploring the world. Some people like to just travel around. If you have a big budget for your retirement, you worked hard doing a 403b or 401k or IRA Roth, and your pensions and stuff like that, or you got a military pension, or you got some other types of pensions, you can travel and you can do really well. Anyway, guys, I got somebody at the door. I just want to talk about that today. God bless. Take care.